What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is February 3rd of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, we got to spend some time to dive into the big news of Ethereum breaking through $1,500. The question here is whether or not here in the next week or so we could be expecting to hit our big price target of $20,000. And what's the general roadmap here for Ethereum going forward into the future? We'll be diving into all that and more right after our quick sponsor. And our sponsor for today's episode is TaxBit. The 2020 tax season is here. Calculating taxes on cryptocurrency is complex and time-consuming, but TaxBit has made it easy by automating the entire process. Link your exchanges and wallets to seamlessly pull your transactions through their tax engine and auto-generate your tax forms. Aside from automating taxes, TaxBit provides crypto enthusiasts real-time portfolio tracking and tax optimization visibility so that you can make tax optimization crypto trades throughout the year. If you're looking to stay IRS compliant, have real-time portfolio visibility, and save money on cryptocurrency taxes, then TaxBit is the platform for you. Check out the link down below in the description for more information. And for those of you who may be interested in simplifying your taxes this year through the TaxBit platform, we've got a Google form down below in the description where you can enter in for a chance to win either the Basic, Plus, or Pro package that TaxBit offers to simplify your taxes. And I gotta say, it's a relevant topic because this year, I think a lot of us are gonna have some capital gains to realize. The broader crypto space as a whole is absolutely crushing it right now. Right now, Ethereum, for the first time in history over the last 24 hours, broke above $1,500 in price. And this is just an astronomical moment. I think for many already itself, it just is exciting because it is all-time highs. But I think so many people are watching the minute or hourly chart, and they're not taking a step to look at the daily, the weekly, or the monthly chart. And take a look at this trend here, guys. What an absolutely monstrous recovery here. And this is, again, it just tells so much of a story here. For those of you who have been here from the brutalness of the bear market, there were so many people doubting Ethereum when it was down 90% to Bitcoin from its all-time highs. When it was down here in December of 2018, a lot of people called it a double-digit, we'll use a lighter term here, double-digit crap coin, basically having no value whatsoever. Ethereum was done. And what we had here in the sense of the technical price action speaks to the fundamental story that's been developing around Ethereum. We've had, in this case, the higher lows here in price, right? We set higher lows here over a multi-year period. We set in higher lows, and all of this was due to the early warning signs of the new wave of Ethereum, and that was DeFi, decentralized finance, as Ethereum's ecosystem swallowed up all innovation, all exciting developments, and really captured both the liquidity of the Ethereum network, its core network, but also brought in a ton of new users utilizing these applications. And we can see very clearly here now, guys, the kind of fees that people are paying in order to interact with DeFi is setting real demand for Ethereum as an asset here. And as we move towards proof of staking on ETH 2.0, we see Ethereum possibly becoming an alternative asset that hedge funds and investment funds want to hold as an alternative asset class alongside Bitcoin. I think that the future here is extremely bright. I think above all, our target in the short term of $2,000 could easily be broken if the momentum continues vertically like this. Again, if we consider just on the logarithmic chart here, we've just barely passed over the all-time highs. And if we consider in this case that Bitcoin made an over 50% move here, roughly speaking, from its all-time highs, right around here, in this case around 1,400 for Ethereum, right, we would expect it, at least in this case, to come around a price range of around $2,000. It's the bare minimal conservative estimate, and that's assuming that it's just going to do what Bitcoin's done here. Quite frankly, I gotta be honest with you all, I think that Ethereum has the momentum to go further than that. If we take a look at the ETH to BTC chart here, I think we're slowly but steadily building up into a multi-month logarithmic increase against Ethereum, right? If we want to go off the logarithmic chart here, this is just basically a kind of model here. We've had our higher lows, our higher highs. This is ETH's performance against Bitcoin on a monthly chart. So again, for multiple years going through that bear market, and now in 2021, really breaking out for the new cycle. We saw in the past that this happened in a matter of 5 months, going all the way down here from 0.01 Bitcoin all the way up here to 0.15 Bitcoin, a 15x against Bitcoin as an asset. We're not even really calling for that here. We're calling for a multitude of months here, right? A much longer time frame going into the close of 2021, where Ethereum could get back to its all-time highs, reach some resistance against Bitcoin and start to cusp back up and set new all-time highs later on in a secondary wave or altcoin cycle in 2022 to early 2023. Similar to how Bitcoin set at its all-time highs in December of 2017, and altcoins later peaked out about a month and a half later in January and February for most cryptocurrencies. So that's what we'll be looking out here for in the sense of this broader cycle. And this just gives us a general roadmap. Again, I'm not saying it's going to play exactly like this. I'm not saying we're going to peak at the end of the year. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? But we can see here that not only here on the standard chart that we could very well repeat a fraction of what history done in the past here, in the sense of kind of the momentum, the parabolic movements. But outside of that as well, if we take a look at the logarithmic chart, this is actually much more conservative to what we've seen in the past. Bitcoin dominance as well, or altcoin dominance in this case, subtracting Bitcoin from the equation, showcases here that we've got a long way to go before we hit the next resistance point on this line of resistance that's held us down the last 3 times altcoins have leaped up. And it's really a question of whether or not we're going to possibly be able to break through there as well. I'm going to go ahead and stay on the conservative side of history. As you guys, I know some people think I'm a absolute perma bull when it comes to altcoins. I'm not. I know that they move in cycles, and I'm going to be realistic in the sense of what we can expect for them. I would say that overall, sometime in the middle of this year is probably when we'll set our next temporary peak, and we might even maybe consolidate for a little while or have a full-scale pullback in altcoins. But what's a really reasonable expectation here is that somewhere going into the end of the year, we're going to have a pullback in altcoins. We might have, for example, some kind of pullback in Bitcoin. And inevitably, in this case, we're going to get a leapfrog event for altcoins after Bitcoin sets in its final peak. If anything of what history tells us is true in this case, that's how it should generally play out. But again, let's just focus here on the relative time frame that we're on, guys, and why, again, the biggest emphasis here is focusing on fiat allocations to the altcoin market. That's my biggest goal right now, is just thinking about how can I allocate more capital to the crypto space right now, because it's really not a matter of picking the ultimate altcoin. It's not trading the cryptocurrency that's moving up 100% within a 2 or 3 day period. You want to be able to have your positions properly placed on the bets you know that are fundamentally good for the next coming months and really the next year in this case, the rest of the year here for 2021, right? So you can see here across the board, DeFi as a category has been leading the space with double-digit, if not triple-digit growth on the vast majority of plays, with very, very few cryptocurrencies down in the red here. The vast majority showing solid trends week after week after week. Trying to bet against this trend right now is not very favorable. And it's why we were building our positions fundamentally early on in so many great plays across the market. So we weren't worried about trading the trend. We knew we had our positions for the broader move here. And it's the same kind of argument people make about dollar cost averaging to Bitcoin. You know, it's very essential just to make sure that you're not going to let your emotions in this case. I'm not speaking about anyone particular. I'm speaking more kind of on a self-reflection here. A lot of people worry about taking profit at the absolute peak in this case and, you know, seeing a 100% move, they want to just take profits. And look, that's fine. But, you know, the thing at the end of the day when it comes to cryptocurrency markets is to realize here that the profit potential for each of these cycles, though they decay in the sense of percentage returns that are possible for cryptos as a whole, at the same time, we are still very early on in this market, guys. And when it comes to the valuation ranges here, we have to understand that valuations are going to be much higher than what we've seen in the past. For example, Chainlink's already at $10 billion. We've got Uni here at $5.6 billion. A lot of people get worried when they see that. But to be honest, it's really not that high in the grand scheme of things, because we're now talking about Bitcoin entering very close to $1 trillion market cap, and altcoins are coming back up, regaining that equitable dominance that they used to own in the market, and they're going to have a reflected higher market cap target. So seeing Uni or Chainlink in double-digit billion-dollar territory is not that crazy. It's just not in this market, guys. There's much more liquidity than the previous time around. And it's the same as previous cycles in the past for both crypto markets and other asset classes. Take a look here at DeFi Pulse. We've got over $30 billion locked up in DeFi applications at the moment. And we're starting to see yet again a continuation of the trend we had broadly seen throughout most of 2020 and also again in the previous year of 2019 as we were starting to grow. We really started to kick off here in the summer. But what's nice here is that Maker, in this case MakerDAO, which is one of the largest DeFi projects, or technically is in the sense of TVL, or total value locked up, We've got a lot of growth in other asset classes across the board here. We're seeing a lot of DeFi plays enter double-digit growth territory, if not close to it, in the sense of new capital that's moving on to these networks and these protocols. And again, seeing the actual core amount of Ethereum starting to double bottom here and starting to expand yet again here over the last 30 days is really exciting for me personally. I want to see the actual consumption of the ETH network coming onto DeFi protocols. And we've gone from around 6,600,000 ETH all the way up here to 7 million, nearly around 7,400,000 ETH. Take a look at wrapped Bitcoin here, going from around 30,000 wrapped Bitcoin all the way up to 46,000 Bitcoin. A 16,000 Bitcoin increase, getting sucked in to the DeFi ecosystem, bringing Bitcoin to DeFi. I love it, guys. I think this is awesome. I wish more, all the merrier in this case, to more assets coming into the ecosystem. And this is exactly what we've wanted to see for a long time. Now, I wanted to go ahead and spend a little bit of time to also talk about some of the plays that we've discussed. Some of you out there have been curious about my opinion on Uni. Uni has moved up very nicely. We built most of our positions originally around the $3 to $4 range. And then, of course, we had taken some profits as it moved up as we were worried about the market as Bitcoin dipped. And then we ended up getting back in and still riding the vast majority of this wave here on Uni. Now, the question here is whether or not, I'm looking to take profits here. And look, I would say overall, it wouldn't hurt if you wanted to take some profits or if you wanted to set maybe an increased stop limit. If you're not per se seeing that Uni can go to our price target of $50, but I'm still gun-ho on the idea that we're going to see $50. That market capitalization here could easily go well above 12, 13, 15 billion dollars. It's not a big issue. And again, to emphasize here, not to focus on fully diluted market cap. Look at the circulating market cap right now. Right? Someone in our Dash Report group put out a really good analogy here that I liked in our chat. And I always try to engage as much as I can with the chat group there. But the point that they brought up overall as well was that it would be like in the gold market in this case, right? You've got, for example, gold that is yet to be discovered in this case, or gold that isn't in the circulating supply, and factoring that into gold's market cap. I think that that's a great way to look at it here in this space, especially when we know that these tokens will be locked up, that they have vesting schedules, or that they're locked up in a treasury where they will vest over some period of time. So it's important to keep that in mind as well. So next up here, we've also got Loopring. So Loopring was, again, another kind of one of the, originally I'd say technically anything under $1 billion in my mind is kind of a small cap in this market. And Loopring, since we originally talked about it and stuff back here around, during our token video here for 2021, when the market cap was around 200 million, has now leapfrogged to a total market cap of 644 million here. It's moved up more than 3x since we talked about it as one of our top 10 altcoins for the year. And the question here is whether or not Loopring can continue that. I think very well we can see Loopring at $1 to $2 here in the next few weeks. And the reason why is because they've actually got a real approach to layer 2 right now, which I gotta be honest, they've beaten Uniswap to that race so far. And second off as well, Loopring's actually starting to get some liquidity. And that's really the two factors that you need here. And after that, the users will come. If you have the liquidity, you have the cheaper fees, you provide a smooth onboarding experience, that's what users want to see. And I really love Loopring's approach of using ZK rollups in this case to be able to scale out its network and also be able to provide cheaper transactions, just as fine of settlement time and consistency as Uniswap. And again, also having that liquidity continue to grow. We want to see that liquidity continue to grow throughout the platform. It's going to help it to gain market dominance on a fundamental basis and give more room for the Loopring token to actually move higher. Now, next up as well, I wanted to announce one thing as well that I've recently joined on as an advisor to a project we talked about here on the channel before, and that's Benchmark Protocol. For those who don't know, it's something similar to the Ampleforth protocol in this case that utilizes rebasing or is seen as an elastic supply cryptocurrency. To me, the concept is extremely fascinating, and I'll be honest, I really like Benchmark Protocol's approach better than Ampleforth's in this case. So I still hold my Ampleforth for those of you who are curious, but I also have allocated some of my Ampleforth portfolio over to Benchmark in this case, as well as just building some positions in Benchmark with my own fiat. So I'm very, very excited to see that Benchmark is doing well here overall as a cryptocurrency. I think that, again, with these rebasing currencies, it's important to understand that there is room for growth here, because so long as there's an increased demand here, first off, initially probably around the speculation of its potential future value, and then afterwards, once the asset starts to establish itself within DeFi and it starts to get integrated in protocols, most of the demand here for these type of rebasing tokens, whether it's Benchmark or Ampliford, is going to come in the fact that people are going to need stable assets to turn to for collateral. They're going to need to have stability-based assets that they can turn to in times of excessive volatility when they want to lock in profits. And as we see decentralized exchanges and broadly speaking, derivatives and all types of investments like this and the market starting to lead the way in the sense of the utility for DeFi, as exchanges are probably the most clear example of something that is ripe for disruption for decentralization, I would say here that elastic supply cryptocurrencies like Mark token in this case from the Benchmark protocol are going to be ones that you're going to want to watch. And along with that as well, the project is very, very early on with only a $20 million market cap comparative to the other projects that we've been looking at. And last but not least, one play that I want to say to keep an eye on here is another play here, which is UBT or Unibright, one of the enterprise plays in the blockchain space. Again, a team that I've had the fortunate privilege of working with. I think it's just really important to watch it because they've broken out to new all-time highs here on the dollar pair. It broke above $1. And being one of the largest enterprise plays here, like specifically focused around enterprise, as well as hinting its focus towards not only launching mainnet, but exploring decentralized finance as well, probably taking a much more routine institutional and enterprise-focused approach to DeFi. I think that UBT has got a lot of potential here in the long run. We'll see in this case overall, but again, I love all these projects, guys. I think overall there's a lot of potential in this market. If we're sleeping on the opportunity that's going on right now and rather, focusing on getting the best altcoin and waiting until we find that ultimate coin to get, I think that you'll miss out on a lot of opportunities here in the market. It's more about making sure you've got the proper positions in the proper cryptocurrencies, again, like in specific categories here that are doing good things that fundamentally showcase that they've got real value locked up in their platform, real users utilizing the applications. So long as you have that, you're going to probably win out in this market. You're probably going to outpace just holding Bitcoin or just holding Ethereum. So again, we've been hitting on these points since back, especially during the summer, but we've been big on DeFi for the last couple of years here, guys. And it's so cool to finally see that DeFi is getting that traction. It is the trend for this cycle. And it fundamentally has a lot more of a narrative than the kind of 2017 world where it was just all about a white paper and future concepts of how blockchain was going to change every aspect of our lives, which, to be fair, it's probably not going to do. It's going to change elements of the world of finance and a few other select industries. And that's okay because finance is ripe for disruption and it has so many ramifications for our personal everyday lives. If we can get better interest rates for people, if we can provide alternative stores of value that hedge people against the instability of currencies, as well as provide something that's an alternative savings vehicle comparative to traditional savings accounts, CDs, government bonds, US treasuries, you name it. There's a ton of value here in this market, guys. It's the early days for sure, but with it being the early days means there's a lot of potential opportunity for upside. So anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. And last but not least here, let's take one last look at the chart. Ethereum's back, baby. It's got its mojo back, as some of you might remember. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you all as always, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.